Okay, boys and girls, we are going to start with talking about your stitchery designs from last time. So this is what I have from last time. So if you finish tracing all the way, you will have your actual drawing that you have on your white sheet of paper, and then you have this piece of burlap, okay? And if you did not finish this, okay, this is what I want you to do. As far as tracing your design onto your burlap, this is where you're going to peel off that tape that has your name on it. You can reuse it, tape it to the table here, get your Sharpie marker out, hold the burlap down, and then trace your design through the burlap. Okay, so finish doing that, and don't forget you need the rectangle so that we know where your seam allowance is going to be, because these are going to be sewn into pillows. Okay, once you're done with that, I'm just going to put that back on my burlap fabric here. We're going to talk about using a needle. Okay, so these are the needles you're using. This is called a blunt tapestry needle. Okay, the word blunt means that it is not sharp. Okay, so if I do this, I feel that, but it doesn't hurt. Okay, it's very important that all of these tapestry needles, okay, if you get one, you are responsible for it, and it needs to go back with the other tapestry needles at the end of class. Okay, so these are all going to be counted, okay, and so there's 35 total in the cup. Okay, if for some reason short, look on the floor, look on the table, look in the chair, okay, because it's somewhere, okay, and we don't want to lose them because we don't want somebody accidentally stepping on them or something like that, or okay, or slipping on it. Okay, all right, so how to thread your actual tapestry needle. Okay, so here's the deal. I have boxes of yarn, and there's lots of different choices, and you just share it at your table. Okay, so you're going to get a ball of yarn, because most of them are in a ball, or what we call a skein or skein. So a skein of yarn is kind of this long, more of like a log shape of yarn, and that's what you're used to seeing when you go out and you buy it. Now, when you pull the yarn off, you want to get a certain amount of it. You will pinch the end of the yarn, and then you're going to put it over by your armpit. Okay, so I have a photograph of this so you can see what it looks like. It's almost like you're, when I think of it, might be like pulling a bow, so that you can shoot a bow and arrow. So you will go from your armpit out with your hand and stretch it out. Okay, so when you get that length, then you're going to use your scissors and you cut. So to thread your yarn onto your tapestry needle, this is how you do it. You're going to go ahead and wrap the tail on the needle, and I pinch it really close to the actual metal part of the needle, and this is the end of the needle. And by the way, the other part is the eye. The opening is the eye of the needle, and then all you got to do is you pinch really hard and you take the needle off, you slide it off. The eye, you put it over the yarn and you push it through the actual eye, and see, now it gets easier to pull. Okay, so I don't want to see anybody like wetting this and with their tongue and trying to stick it through. Okay, the yarn is too fuzzy and it's too thick. I mean, when you pinch it, it really makes it compact. That means it gets thinner and it gets smaller. Okay, so now that it's on here, I'm going to take my other end and we're going to tie a knot in it. Okay, all right, so to tie a knot, take the tail, cross it over the yarn. So I cross it over like this. It's like it makes the letter X, okay? And then after that, you're going to take the tail, it goes around the back and through the little loop, and then you pull. Okay, you want to do it twice. So once again, make an X with the actual tail, take the end, it goes through the loop, and then you pull like that. So you just double knotted it. Okay, next thing is we're going to decide where we want to start. Okay, I'm going to start with my letters, and the first stitch I'm going to teach you is called a running stitch or a straight stitch, okay? That's a very common stitch, and it's going to create like a broken line, okay? Whenever you are stitching, you always start from the back, okay? So the back is the side that does not have the design on the burlap, okay? So this is what I do. I take the needle from the back, and then I just kind of pinch, and I see I'm going to start from the bottom of my letter N. Okay, so this comes through the back, and then I'm pushing the needle up through the burlap hole, and this is where, okay, see, I see the yarn. I'm going to pinch right where that yarn is going through the eye, and then I pull. Now when you pull, it's gonna stop because there's that knot, okay? And this is the pattern. You're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's my 4th hole, and then I'm going to push the needle through on the same side, and that's my 1st stitch. I'll flip it over to the back now. Okay, all right, I'm going straight up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's get to the 4th hole. You push the needle through on the same side, and you pull. Okay, all right, then flip it over to this side. Okay, all right, and then I'm going to count 1, 2, 3. Oops, let me do that again. I slipped. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to pull. All right, flip it over to the other side. I think I have enough to, okay, go 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, look at that. I'm going to go through the top of my N, and then I'm going to count, and I'm following those lines that I drew earlier, and then I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I'll flip it over this way. Okay, now this is at a diagonal. This is where I'm literally going from the back side, and I'm just counting 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, see where my 4th hole is. Okay, so it's there, and then I can go ahead and pull. Yep, it's nice and straight. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and 1, 2, 3, 4. Flip it over, going at a diagonal. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Look at that. And pull. Okay, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. And flat. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to count, because this is going straight. I'm going to flip it over, going 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm going to go over here and I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, I'll flip it over to the back, count 1, 2, 3, 4, go through that hole. Looks like I just have 4 left here. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. Now I don't have quite 4, but I have 3, and that's fine. I'm going to go with that, or I could go up 1 and go 4. Okay, now here's the thing. I'm done with my letter N. Okay, I want to make my M in the same color. Okay, I want to use the same stitch. So this is what I'm going to do. I am going to hop over. Okay, I'm not going to cut this and retie this because it's really not going to waste very much string. Okay, so this is where I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to use the same yarn. I'm going to go all the way to the bottom of my M. And you can see, guys, if you can see, just like you could see your sketch through the burlap, you can see, I can see my hand and my needle. I'm going to go ahead, bottom of the M, pull. Don't pull so hard that it makes a burlap wrinkle. And then I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, and then I would continue. Okay, for some reason, let's go ahead and jump ahead. Say I'm finished as far as in that color of yarn, and I'm done, and say I finished my M, and we are actually all the way, you know, done with this. Okay, on the back, this is always, because this is the side that is not, it's not the pretty side. Okay, all right, so this is the side that nobody sees. Okay, so this can be a lot more messy. Okay, so this is where I can take my actual yarn off, and this is where I'm going to loop it. Okay, all right, I take the tail, I go around this, and then I'm going to pull it through the hole, and then I'm just going to carefully pull, and it's going to knot it, and I'm going to do it again. I'm going to loop around. See, I hold this up, loop around, go through the hole, and double knot it like that, and then I'm just going to cut. Alright, and I want to trim this too to kind of have it neater, just so that that yarn it won't get tangled. Okay, alright. So I showed you guys a running stitch, okay? This is plenty, okay, just to get it started. Next time I'll show you how to do a satin stitch, a half stitch, okay, cross stitch, and a French knot if there's time, okay? So start picking out your yarns and then working with the yarn. Just follow the steps, okay? and be patient, okay? It's hard getting used to the pattern. And there's no way to really mess up on this because you can always undo this, okay? All right, so when you're finished, guys, just put your sketch, because you will end up using this a little bit later. So keep those together and then put things at the end of your table. Remember, okay, yarn. If you're finished with the yarn, whatever yarn you're using, please don't throw it. Okay, throw it back in the box. Just wrap it back up carefully and put it back in the box. And don't forget, these tapestry needles have to all be back and collected, okay? So there's 35 of them, so should have 35 at the end of them, okay? All right, and if for some reason you run out of time and you don't get time to knot this, guys, you can just leave it hanging, okay? Like, you can literally leave the end tail just sticking out, because we can always reuse a tapestry needle, put it back on, and then you can keep stitching. But if you're finished, that's the only reason I knotted it, and I was just showing that to you guys. But if you have a very long tail left on it, you don't want to waste that yarn, so just leave it hanging and then you can just reuse it. Okay? All right, that's it. Bye now.